It's really up to either side to determine who's going to be headed straight for Worlds and just playing for seeding on Sunday, and who has to head into the group stages for tomorrow.
I mean, if there's been any sort of pattern recognition in these best-of-5 sets, I'm looking at your sets specifically between Space Station Gaming, how you guys won the first game and then dropped the next one and then constantly kept winning and losing. And I think Elevate, they should basically win this game if we continue to follow the pattern.
Yeah, if we follow the pattern, they should win. And honestly, both teams have been playing fantastic, and they're still dropping this Osiris. Maybe they can't deal with it, right? At this point, that's got to be what it is.
I think it's just got to be the factor where they don't want to have to leave it for Obey. Xaylia probably just has an absolutely insane Osiris. If they're this confident in first banning it out, that's just such a risky decision. Or it would normally be looked at as a super risky decision, but here, there's clearly a certain mindset behind it.
The problem with Osiris here is he's damn near impossible to gank and efficiently kill in the early solo laning phase, and not only that, during the later portion team fights, he's going to mitigate so much damage with that tether. And we were discussing about the RDO prioritization here. Elevate electing for the first pick in the last important elimination game, taking this option.
I love seeing the RDO here. You can go RDO jungle again, and it basically enables you to have that 100 mid.
But with the Kabrakan being a part of the top 2 selections from Obey, I also love this response from Obey, because Kabrakan plus the RDO would have probably been way too much for Obey to try and handle. And we've already seen that scenario go against them today. So for Elevate now, what do you think that Cherio is going to look to try and pick up?
We can see, like I said, we can see RDO jungle again. We can look for a Shing 10 here. We can maybe even look for a Sobek, but I really want... I want an Elevate draft. I want big frontline, and I want double ADC.
But there's not going to be the double ADC of Ho Yi and a Musin Cobb. Obey Alliance switching things up. They're leaving Naja open this time around yet again here, simply because they want to take away the Musin Cobb and get the Ho Yi. And look at Pretty Prime. Look at him just being standing up next to his coach, Hazer. You can tell the adrenaline is truly pumping.
With this being available for Elevate to take Raijin, and there's also the pickup potential for Naja, and it's finally 5 games in, Elevate stripping away that Raijin from Obey. Not today, Prime.
Finally. It's about damn time if Elevate, this coach is looking at this, like not allowing Pretty Prime with 5 games in a row.
I also like this this avenue too. You're not banning the Raijin, right? And you're taking it. It's not double Hunter like I wanted to see, but I'm sure he can play Raijin. I'm sure he can play Raijin very well.
Even though Death Panther didn't really get a chance to show what he can actually do on the Scylla, I do feel as though he's probably going to find a lot more success with the Raijin. And combining that alongside of the Ullr, these are still 2 very strong gods for the early game stages. And a lot of what Elevate has been trying to do is counteract to any sort of ganks that Obey is looking for in the early game.
Very important for Captain Twig to take this Ratatasker before the secondary ban phase. This global pressure is going to make Death Panther question some of his positioning potentially, and if he's ever in a spot where he's in the red threshold, he's going to get chased down.
I mean, Twig was playing great last game, right? He's definitely going to pressure Death Panther, and he's also going to pressure this Ullr. The Ullr has a hard time dealing with Rat, right? If you're going towards him and he's in his bow stance, that's all your actives. You're going to take damage, and you're just going to lose.
And considering that last game was also, again, the first time that we really got to see Captain Twig be Captain Twig and work his way through the back line, have that bruiser-heavy build on the Assassin to just deal damage, but both take it, I think that's incredibly important. And Obey as well, eliminating that Naja is super important, because after they reveal that they're going to be looking for Ratatasker in the jungle, that leaves open a lot of playroom for Cherio in deciding what he really feels is best to try and face off with.
Raijin controls a lot of space in the jungle. So does Naja with the ring bounces. You never want to get a little bit too close to the action, but I think this is a strategy where Obey Alliance, between the Rat and the Kabrakan, they're trying to aggressively position themselves deep in the heart of Elevate's jungle and Elevate's team fight in the backline, and eliminating this Naja just allows them to do it a little safer.
I'm really liking the Faf ban here. Faf and Raijin is weird, right? Because you can get up to him, you can stun him, and then everyone can kind of commit. And if you time your ult right, Raijin can't really do anything to you. He might be able to CC you if you're after the transform, but you can also just use it as an Aegis.
That's very true. You're able to just get on out of there. So not going to have that option for Obey Alliances. And that Fafnir ban maybe means that Elevate are trying to lean on this Ario in the support role for Dardas. Now Nox is still open. There's still some more options for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if they just leave it in support and maybe give Cherio maybe the Hunbats again.
What are the odds, you think, of us seeing an Amaterasu come out? For either side. I'm looking more particularly at Obey because the Cabrakan could be the flex pick option between Azalea and Emilzy, but I could very well see an Amaterasu having some viability in either one of these drafts.
Movement speed is not a bad option here. You got Amaterasu. You also have Nike for that passive to try to allow your team to either chase or disengage here. Maybe that could be one option, but if they're trying to play safe in what they've been playing, I don't necessarily expect it here in this elimination game.
I think with how the last 2 games went and how they were much quicker than the first 2, I think it's risky picking a late game pick like that here.
Okay, I can definitely see that one, but knowing that Obey or that Elevate are probably going to be looking for a little bit more frontline, what do you think that Obey should respond with? I mean, I'm seeing the Giannis now. How do you feel?
That's mobility in the form of the threshold, just increasing all of your teammates' mobility, as well as providing portals through walls, also doing a lot of damage in the late game, especially rolling the die and trying to catch some people unexpectedly.
That is a lot of movement. If you do not know where anyone is on this map, they're gonna find you. They can get to you at any point in the game.
I don't think there's gonna be ever a point in time after level 5 for Obey that Elevate's comms are gonna be quiet. They need to be discussing the positioning of every Obey member.
That's probably the most terrifying part, though, about seeing Obey pick up this Giannis, is because you know how heavy their disengage could possibly be, especially when you already have the Ratatasker with that semi-global ultimate to kick things off for you.
So the biggest thing here for me is Janus doesn't do super well in the early game, right? Like with Uller, Raijin, and Ardio, they're all really strong early. You should be able to abuse this Janus, even if he is very mobile, right? Maybe he can get into golds, maybe he can not die, but you can definitely steal buffs. You can definitely just abuse the map.
What about Bastet here for Elevate? Xing Chen's going to be locked in, still one more pick. Bastet wouldn't be a bad idea to try to chase down Giannis, but instead, Han Bats is the option, and that's not a bad idea considering you can teleport to that Furious Monkey bounce if Giannis goes through that portal.
I am going to love to see that play if it happens. That is always one of the coolest plays, that and
Susanoo, right?
Susanoo, yeah, when you teleport to a Janus is like, yeah, I'm out, I can't die, I'm Janus, and then Assassin just wipes him out.
It's not cool, though, when you're the Giannis player that's getting chased down by that factor. And even still, Elevate still have a lot of aggression early on to kind of compensate for how... Because Hunbots can be a bit weaker in those earlier stages, where I do feel as though Elevate are still trying to orient their draft a bit more towards that mid-game stride. And for Obey, I think this last pick selection, I kind of almost want to say it might be an Ares.
It could be an Ares potentially, but instead it's going to be the Hell pick for Obey Alliance. I did not see this one coming. We're talking about mobility between portals, but Hell with her light stance heal is also going to be pretty annoying.
Fast, fast, fast. How many sprints are we going to see? Everyone is always sprinted all the time. How do you catch them? Do you have enough lockdown? Is the Xing 10, honestly, I don't think Xing 10 can even hit anyone with an ult. You can almost walk out of it on your own, and then Janus, he's going to have an issue.
I'm really excited for this Obey Alliance draft, and honestly, if I had to pick a team here to win it in game number 5, I got to go with Obey Alliance.
You're going with that Hell, the spicy flavor pick of the Hell. I don't think I would have ever expected to see the Hell come. I mean, we saw that long period of time where Hell was being prioritized so heavily by numerous teams, and then she kind of just fell off a little bit.
She fell off a little after the nerf, which was, I understand why it was like, it was a flavor pick, right? Everyone's like, oh wow, this really works. And I think Hell with her cleanse is just going to beat that entire comp.
I mean, we've been seeing it time in and time out where there's a specific pick that's just been kind of shifted through the seasons here between spring, fall here and summer. It just doesn't matter where you are. This Hell is always going to be viable. It just depends on if your team's been practicing with it and how successful you've been doing in scrims as well.
Hell is always in this weird spot where if you have to beat her kind of at every point in the game. If you lose to Hell at like if you beat her for 8 minutes and then you lose to her at minute 12, she just snowballs. You can't. She'll keep the entire team alive. She'll stop any CC from happening, and it's just a mess.
And Jeff, maybe you've got a better feeling for this than most, but when it comes down to a best-of-5 series and you've got a teammate who's just like, let me bring out this pocket pick, what is the kind of mindset that follows after?
All right, if this is what your pick, you're confident in it, just do it. You have a good feeling about it. We trust in you.
Same way Aqua picked that Thanatos in game number 5 for you yesterday.
Yep.
And yeah, Thanatos solo is still insane. Hilarious though how Mask and Aquarius were talking about who was actually going to be able to take that Thanatos away. And for the hell, do you think that there's any chance that wouldn't be a support? I can't personally. I don't feel as though that wouldn't not go to the support role, but sometimes you can just never really be sure.
Honestly, I mean, what would you? I mean, maybe Rat support, maybe Cab support. I mean, but she just works best in that lane. She keeps the pressure up. She can contest. She can contest RDO pressure, and it's just better there.
Since inception, Hell's been either played in the mid or the solo lane for quite a long time, but the way the meta has been shifted now here in Season 4, you don't want to leave a Hell alone in the solo lane or obviously in the mid lane, so Giannis is probably going mid. Hell's support would make more sense to me personally because you're going to be bouncing between either the duo lane or the mid lane paired up with your jungler, which is going to be that Ratatasker, having a lot of mobility, having the global pressure. It's just all over the place. I'm expecting Obey Alliance to put pressure every which lane.
Yeah, right now they definitely have it. And like you were saying, the old way you used to beat Hell is you would just find her and you would kill her. She would be, like you said, a mid laner or a solo laner. You would target her out. And now with Hell supports coming out, you're always holding somebody's hand. It's so hard to pick her when people are peeling for you, when you're running around with sprint and extra move speed from your lights.
And you get a free purification beads with the cleanse too. That's why Hell is so popular back in the day. They're just trying to negate where Fenrir was so popular. You just cleanse before Geb was a thing even too.
Don't remind me about the dark days. But another thing too that I'm actually paying attention to is RDO works best whenever she can keep members kind of locked around her cripple field. So when you have a team that's so movement speed heavy, how do you work around that if you're Elevate as far as trying to keep Obey contained within that area for focusing them down?
So for me, for Elevate to win this, I'm pretty sure they just have to abuse Janus. They have to beat up Hell a little bit early, and they just have to be too big for that for mobility to matter. When they hit 1 or 2 spells, somebody has to die.
Normally, the answer in response to a Hell is lockdown. Positional lockdown with walls, cages, you know. Kabrakan was picked for Obey Alliance. Odin wasn't picked here because Hell was last picked for Obey Alliance. There was no opportunity for Elevate to get that pick after the fact. So it was in Obey's court. They made sure that there was no possible counters of at least 100% healing reduction against this Hell, and they picked that right sweet spot to get this last pick.
But with the Giannis Ratatasker being the combination that you're seeing out of your jungle and mid laner, assuming that, I mean, I think we can all agree that that's what we're going to be seeing, but is there really enough follow-up damage there early on? Because that's probably where we're going to see Elevate trying to abuse their composition the most.
There's, the damage is really low, and like I said, that's kind of Elevate's window. They have to abuse that, but if this goes mid, late, like they can't kill them. They're too fast, and then they just drag team fights out for a really long time. They come in, they poke you, and then it turns into this whole dance where Obey just has the upper hand.
There's a ticking time bomb for Obey Alliance to be able to win this game, and Elevate needs to diffuse the situation before it gets a little bit too out of control. Between their team composition here, it's very important, I think, for Jermaine playing this Uller to get off early.
Well, it's a best of 5 right now, or technically the best of 1 like we've all joked about. But Jeff, who do you got for this one?
I have Obey for this.
Toli?
Obey Alliance, I said it before. I'm going to stick to it now here. They got this.
I'm going to play the cop-out answer and just say, John and Hindu, go ahead and have some fun with game number 5.
Well, thank you, Taco, for taking the easy way out. Game 5 here. Obey going up against Elevate. Winner goes to HRX. Loser drops to Pools. Graham, we got a lot to talk about.
It's been a really crazy scenario with these two teams so far. And the funny thing is, in this set, if you look back through it, it's kind of been last pick has been supports. Like, support has been the last pick that's been waited on until all the other picks are locked in. And, like, We're going to throw Nox in there. We're going to throw Hell in there now. And Hell in this composition, the deaths we're really talking about, the cleanse is going to be so big. A lot of the stuff on the left-hand side of the map, around the Gold Fury side, so mid to dual lane, a lot of the ultimates that Elevate have and a lot of control that they have will be cleansed by Hell if a Millsy can have a good game in it. Not only that, Elevate's composition as a whole is very teamfight focused.
Yes.
It's a big 5-man unit that wants to stick together and break down Obey. Obey, though, skirmishes. What did we see last game? Skirmish, break the fight, put the beat down on. They're looking for the same thing.
Well, either way, we're going into Game 5 here. 2-2 apiece already, though. Elevate has shown up by taking the top team in EU all the way to the very end of the set. Game 5 here coming out from Elevate. And we see Emilzy, like we expected, is on that Hell, taking it into the support role. And we know that with that cleanse, with that heal, with that extra movement speed, there's a lot that she can provide.
1 year ago, almost to the week that we saw EU only send 2 teams to Worlds, we're now seeing the 4th seeded team in Europe potentially strip away a spot at Worlds from the 1st seeded team in Europe. That would have been a crazy story last year. It's still a crazy story this year, especially when Energy are not even involved in these games today. They're in the wildcards tomorrow. This is how far Europe have come this past year. North America, they're the ones on the back foot this time round.
Well, think about it. If you get to practice up against the best all the time, or maybe not practice getting smacked around, you're going to get better yourself. So that's what's happened a little bit. The rest of EU, it feels like,
Proxies?
have caught up. And that's what we're seeing. Zelia and the rest of Captain Twig are over here proxying the wave. No Numbers has been alone in solo all set. So that's what they're recognizing. They're not going to be under pressure. Come strip it away.
And this proxy is so good. Why? Because everybody else is stuck in lanes, which means they get straight to the speed buff as it spawns.
Yeah.
They steal away the speed buff from Elevate as it spawns. Wow, Cherio and Panther are just trying to clear out the mid lane.
No, this start from Zelia and Captain Twig has been excellent to really put No Numbers behind and get themselves ahead. As you said, the mids are even. So now Obey Alliance come back and get in their own bus across the top while they continue to proxy.
Well, there was one thing that happened on the left-hand side that I don't think we caught on camera, but Dardas, I think, focused Ataraxi, who was trying to do the back harpies there, so Ataraxi ended up having to play very safe and go back to round the corner through his tier 2, so lost a bit of experience there. So once again, Elevate control the left-hand side, Obey control the right-hand side, mid lane, still even.
Still even, and even taking away the back harpies, Arzelia and Captain Twig already level 3, making life really hard on No Numbers. Yep, this is the 3rd wave they've proxied at this point. They proxied every wave that's come through. He's had to tank every wave that's come through, has No Numbers. He does have that HP 5 passive, I believe, though, so he can sustain a little bit through it.
Hey, Kabrakan with a Ratatoska, their wave clear together is pretty good. One set of tremors and one little spin on the spot from Twig. The wave's pretty much dead, especially when you got a Bluestone Pendant online for Twig as well. Won't take too long at all, so now they've got full control on the right, and they'll escalate their level 5 so very quickly by continuing to do this.
And they need to take advantage of that. I want to see once they get that level 5, hopefully they'll come over and start to use that in other areas. But it's not all doom and gloom for Elevate, as you like to say, sir. Ataraxia is behind now because of the start that you mentioned in Duo.
Fine. It's not really that much of a big issue. If your mid lane's technically going to be fine and your right-hand side's winning the map too, just sit back and play safe. You're playing Hou Yi as well, which means that even if they try and freeze you off the wave, you can ricochet to tag the frontline creeps to make sure you're getting gold of experience without getting too far forward. One of the benefits of that range from Hou Yi is that ricochet that really helps them out.
Now level 5, Arzelia and Captain Twig. They're actually going to go through and try and proxy the wave one more time, this time through the tower. It doesn't work, though. No Numbers actually slows him down, so now he finally gets a wave to come meet his own.
Yeah, a little bit of a tricky situation for them now. I love what No Numbers did just to try and slow down this pace that Zelia and Captain Twig have done in this lane, but it's not enough to actually stop them completely from owning this right-hand side of the map. And now they're level 5, they'll be looking for kills. It actually looks like Dardas and Jermaine looking to do a bit of their own in terms of proxy.
That is what they're doing. They're trying to respond by keeping Ataraxia behind in response to them taking down No Numbers. But now at this point, there's nothing really left for them to strip away for Zelia.
And that's a really good point, Finch. When you actually talk about nothing, you actually talk about the proxy on the left-hand side. There's nothing for them to actually go and do with that proxy. What are they going to do with it? There's no jungle up of Obey. There's no jungle up of their own. Go for a Gold Fury or a Tomb at this stage with an ult? I don't think so just yet, you know? That's the bit of an issue here where they try to proxy, and maybe it's to look for the tower and zone Ataraxia off the experience, which seems to be the case.
And Ataraxia does not believe that they're going to go in for him. He backs up, yes, to the back of the tower, but he does not give up and back away. He gets stunned out, though, by Jermaine, who's showing he can definitely pilot this Ullr, and instead now sitting at half health.
Notice how Jermaine and Dardas played that as well. They pressured Ataraxia, but Ataraxia didn't back away too much. And with that, you also noticed that they didn't have vision on the mid lane or support from Obey. So they had to give up that pressure around that tier 1 tower just in case there was a rotation on its way through. That's why you can see considerable pings. Speed buff being looked at by Captain Twig yet again. 4 members strong.
Yeah, here come Emilzy and Pretty Prime. Fear No Evil is committed, and they still don't even get it. Captain Twig has that speed buff around his own waist now, and Emilzy and Pretty Prime were there to help. So yes, they have pressure on Ataraxia, but that's the wrong person. I feel like they need to pressure Prime or Emilzy.
Ataraxia being pressured, but yeah, he can't really get anything. They can't really focus him down on that side. They're not even forced to use the beads just yet. And then we go back to, you know, when we get to team fights, think about it again. I said it, Elevate. Very focused on a 5v5, looking to group up as a team and chunk down members. Whereas Obey, looking to do pick-off squad routines.
Their whole team is here looking for Jermaine. Gets the stun to Pretty Prime, but out come the beads. Immediately following up the unstable Vortex. First blood goes to Obey Alliance, and I think they might have gotten first blood every game. I'm not sure, but pretty close.
Pretty close. Well, pretty close for Pretty Prime, but Panther could be in trouble against Twig here. 2v1 and Cheerio low on health. The crit!
Couldn't get out.
The crit came through! Cheerio thanking his lucky stars right there.
Emilzy, though, is actually hitting pretty hard. Actually forces beads out from Cheerio, and he was right. He was close to falling there to Emilzy, so that's a big kill. Captain Twig almost 1v2s, but instead gets caught out. Let's Elevate catch back up just a little.
But that RNG saves the day there, because I'm pretty sure Panther would have ended up potentially dying. Seems like Twig wasn't going to continue committing onto the Raijin. He was trying to get out with that ultimate, but that crit after the overhand smash, that's one of the passives in the game. Sometimes it comes up big.
Sometimes it does, and it's something that you can make a lot of use of by weaving in those in-hands between abilities like we just saw from Cheerio, who I know gets the most out of all these gods when he plays them. Now over here trying to secure the Oracles, successfully securing the Oracles. Our Obey Alliance, Pretty Prime and Emilzy have gone almost unchecked this game. That's scary if you're Elevate. For 5.5 minutes, they've just free farmed.
It's funny to see Pretty Prime on something that's not Raijin.
It's nice.
Took 5 games.
I'm sure he's happy.
Maybe he's not. Maybe he just wanted to play one god. And the one that he's gone to is Giannis, which in the early game going to be focused on farming and rotating his team around. As the game goes, hang on, Twig's dead. No
Twig
beads.
is getting caught out. Twig's actually able to dash back out of it. He's okay. Fear No Evil does get expended, and Zalia's here to make sure there's no further aggression.
I actually thought he had no beads after the last little skirmish in the jungle, but no. Beads were available just at the best possible time before Cheerio could find that Fear No Evil combination and would have picked up another kill for himself.
And that, you're right, that's very big. Captain Twig, after farming, is out in front of no numbers in Cheerio, as is Zalia, level 9 compared to level 7, so they don't want to give any of that back, trying to ride that lead they got from that early proxy farm and jungle control into this mid game.
So now, once again, Elevate in a very similar position when they were playing against the Sir Captain Twig jungle. Not because there's anything in the jungle they're too afraid of this time around, because Ratatosk can now no beads, has to play defensive, but they go for 50% of the map. There's a Giannis that could appear with a Hell in tow, which means that even if they go for the kill, they might not get it because the sustain will come through from Hell to top the person up getting ganked. And second of all, you've also got a Giannis in your face that's rotating you behind them to cut off your escape routes.
It's just scary. Between the threshold, between Emilzy with his heal as well, they're just so fast, everyone Obey Alliance, and they have the big portals to get through. Cheerio actually blinks in there aggressively off that monkey toss, but still not able to find anything on Captain
Again,
Twig.
Cheerio needs those crits and he's getting them too. This is good pressure from Obey, even though they're not getting the speed, because they're forcing that mid wave to be focused down by Jermaine, who's made a rotation. Soon as Jermaine shows his face, however, Obey go, nope. Ataraxia is not here. This would be a 4v5. We can't contest the speed. So great rotation from Jermaine, actually, to save Obey from getting a free win of a free mid-wave into the tower and putting the pressure back onto them.
Ataraxia, though, is getting a little bit of farm. In fact, because Jermaine and Dardas split so many waves, he's out in front of Dardas right now at level 9. Zalia and Emilzy got some poke on the no numbers, but he's going to have to back up for now.
Easy little dance-off. The Hunter's actually a little bit out of position here. Looks like Jermaine wants to fight against Ataraxia, and Ataraxia may be forced into taking that fight on the left-hand side of the map at the moment, but now he'll fall back towards his own half as Cheerio has to leap away to safety.
Twig got good damage in, but Dardas was enough to slow down. Big chunk damage
Run,
came
run.
out from Zalia. Dardas does end up falling to Emilzy up into the air. Is also Captain Twig landing down on top of Death Panner, who is enough to push him away. Emilzy tried to come back over the top, but it wasn't enough. But they're going to go for the dive.
Oh,
they're going to try and clean him up, and they got him. No problem. See you later, Death Panner. 3-1 now. Obey Alliance.
What happens is Dardas gets caught. Panther tries to help out. Panther ends up getting hit by the ultimate from Captain Twig, which his beads were just a hair too late, which meant that he wasn't able to jump away straight away, which would have meant he didn't take as much free poke damage, would have potentially lived there. Comedy of errors puts Obey further in the lead.
And now they are going to try and take that lead. Cheerio, once again, forced to use Fear No Evil to help secure some camps. Captain Twig able to run away this time,
panic.
so not under too much pressure. You're right.
No real panic there out of him. He realized the Fear No Evil would have ended by the time he would have used his beads. Instead, he just walked away, takes the back Harpies, and he's like, okay, good job, Cheerio. You used your Fear No Evil and got mid Harpies. Good job.
Either way, he's going to be all right. Captain Twig and Pretty Prime without their ultimates. So the two big global ultimates are about halfway back to being available again for Obey Alliance. So Elevate have a moment without having to worry about that big pressure.
We mentioned the Hell, and the Hell is level 10 so far in this game. Dardes, the other support in this, level 8 on the RTO. Means that Emilzy obviously hasn't been focused down so far in this one, and that's going to be a real big problem for them, John, as this continues.
No, this is scary. The Yanis and the Hell so far have not had to worry about really any pressure. In fact, they're the ones that are putting pressure throughout the map. They're basically free farming, and like they were saying on the desk, you kind of got to beat Hell at every stage of the game or she's just going to go off.
And while you're trying to focus Hell, then you're leaving Giannis to free farm, and Giannis in the late stages can put out a lot of damage, you know? It's the early game is where Giannis really struggles in terms of damage output. His early wave clear is a little bit lackluster. He's more focused around supporting his team in the early stages, and then as the game goes on, he's still got the same amount of support, but then he's got the nuke potential of destroying somebody on the map.
That's right. It's maybe not the big AoE damage you get from some of those other metas. I mean, he can hit multiple members, but not often used that way.
Emilzy's collecting the money all of a sudden. Look at him.
I mean, look at him. We know that's what Emilzy does.
Yeah, a bit of a smile. It wasn't. I tell you what, he didn't have a smile on after game 3. I'll tell you that when he was 2-1 down.
I'll let you handle that one there. I'm just
saying,
going to talk about how great Emilzy is.
Oh, now Dardes is disappointed now. He'll be okay.
I don't blame him. There's a lot on the line here for him, Graham.
There
We're
is.
in Game 5 here. This is the way to go right to HRX, not have to worry about that group stage. And they will be coming back in on Sunday, though, to play in those regional finals to see who gets top seed.
To be fair, even if Elevate lose this game, at the moment Obey are in control of it, Elevate not out of it just yet, but they did put some respect back on their name here, like coming into this. They really did. Like, honestly, everyone was always joking about Elevate being like, oh, okay, this is a stomp for Obey. They're definitely at Worlds. Yeah. Not necessarily the case. And now looking at wildcards, yesterday I was feeling Space Station Gaming's the team to watch out in North America in the wildcards now, definitely from that point of view. And now Elevate's another one that's going to be joining Energy, so it's not going to be as clear-cut as people thought with Energy getting out of wildcards just yet.
And then it's going to be either Dig or Rival.
Yeah.
And Energy are waiting.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about it. It's
scary. Technically, if Elevate win this game, it's Obey and Energy in the wildcards, along with Space Station Gaming, and then whoever loses Dig Rival.
Obviously,
I'm not counting out Noble.
No one wants to be down there.
But then, to be fair, I'm semi-counting out Noble.
You're right, Noble's down there too.
The same way Elevate have been semi-counted out by most of the people, I think Noble will be looked at the same way. But if Noble do what Elevate have done here, it's anyone's game.
They've just been watching. I've seen them. I think that they're prepping, man. I'd be scared of everyone down there. You do not want to be in those group stages. That's why Obey Alliance are going in right now. Captain Twig has to use bees to get away from the Whirlwind Rage and steal from no numbers and immediately starts looking for the back. So that's another. Those rat beads have been on cooldown almost all game.
It's funny, no numbers and Cheerio this game have to have a very solid game together in terms of juggling beads rotations and their ultimates. If they can get the cooldowns off with one of these ultimates and then in the next team fight or the one after, look for the other one to go in and ult and find the big ultimate there, they won't have the beads up again, which means they can set up for kills.
So far throughout this game, Captain Twig appears to have been the one that's the focus from Elevate, and I don't know if that's putting it in the right direction. Emilzy and Pretty Prime are having no problem staying up at the top. 11 for Emilzy to level 8 from Dardes.
But how would you kill a Hell that's got a support Giannis with him technically? Is the way you can look at it. You can look at it the other way too, round 2. How would you kill a Giannis when they've got a support Hell? Both those two together are going to be so difficult to separate them, because if one gets in trouble, I'll portal away. The other one gets in trouble, I'll portal you away. The other one gets in trouble, I'll heal you. The other one gets in trouble, I'll heal myself. Like,
they don't have
really
to die,
rough.
Hindu. Force them back. Don't let them just do whatever
How
they
do you
want.
force a Hell back, though, Finch, when it's just going to sustain back
You
up?
have a Unbots.
What, Humbats can stop healing?
No,
he can if he builds some.
You can't heal if you're being feared.
That is true. That's true. But then you got to deal with the clans too and the beads potentially on top of that. And the beads is on Hell. Remember that. You do see that Emilzy did start with beads on this Hell to make sure that if he does get hit by some of the CC, it's not going to be that much of an easier.
Look at that.
Why not?
They're really concerned about that Fear No Evil coming from Cheerio, and that's the right way to do it. Make sure they shut down the main thing that Unbots does. He kind of feels a little bit like an ult bots at a certain point.
Well, you've got 3 things that you're going to have to deal with from Elevate in terms of CC. You've got the Whirlwind and Rage and Steel coming out from the Jing 10 in the team fight. You've got the Fear No Evil from Cheerio, and then Death Panther, you're looking at some of the taunts potentially, or even Dardes with the RTO with some of the stuns, but they're not as useful as the other 2 that just mentioned.
Oracles go the way of Obey Alliance too, as Ataraxi and Jermaine head back over here to the duo lane. Despite that early start, Jermaine and Dardes had pressure. Ataraxi is looking fine. Kind of reminds me of last game where they put pressure on Ataraxi, and he still ended up being a big impact.
I think the big classic thing about that, of what's happened there, is because Obey started winning elsewhere on the map so much that then we've seen Dardes go, okay, I guess I'm going to have to come to mid lane and help out. Which means that Jermaine's like, well, now all that pressure I had has been evened out, because Ataraxi was getting 1v2 farm the entire time, and Jermaine was not getting 1v2 farm. He was getting the other way around, 2v1, so he's not getting as much experience in gold.
Obey Alliance have slowed it down just a little bit, but now Captain Twig's only 5 seconds away from getting his Purification beats back. Once he has that, he'll feel more comfortable being that initiator for him.
Well, biggest story is the secondary relics coming through for the whole of Obey now as well. As you can see, Twig just returned to base to get his secondary relic online as well. And that's a big power play. You can see there's only Death Panther who's just hit level 12 now to get his to join Jermaine. And now that's a power play opportunity. Some teams recognize how big that secondary relic can be.
It is.
Look at that. Gold Fury being looked straight over to by Obey. No surprise. This is the perfect time to do it. Let's go.
Jermaine is rotating over, though, along with Death Panther, so they've got a chance to try and at least defend. But Obey Alliance, once again, cleanly give it up once they recognize they're here, but not Twig. He's rotating around, and so is Zalia.
Look how far away right now No Numbers is, too. This is why they're looking for a pick early. And
Good
the portal caught him.
Good portal into Dardes, catches him out, but a better stun comes out for Jermaine to slow down the aggression. Sunbreaker from Ataraxi over the top, lets Pretty Prime clean up Death Banner, and through the Cosmos, lets him go in on Jermaine. The Aegis keeps him alive for the moment, but only for the moment. That's 2 quick deaths for Obey Alliance, and they can start heading right back to the Gold Fury.
Said it before in Game 4. What was it? Split them apart and watch Elevate crumble, and that's exactly what happened here. The secondary relics came through. They only needed one of those, which was, I believe, was it Thorns on Captain Twig there to help them out in that engagement. Now they're going to get a free Gold Fury off this, and they're once again, just like Game 1, putting their foot on the throat of Elevate and looking to close it out and get their spot at Worlds. Finally! Finally! Nobody would have expected that coming into this. At least the fans at home didn't.
No, it seemed like those were the rumblings here, though, that Elevate could show up, but I agree.
And they did.
The consensus around was that Obey Alliance would probably win this set easily, and they certainly have not. I'm sure that Elevate won't feel any kind of condolences in that, but they did play extremely well here in this game, and I'm not saying they're done yet either. They certainly can still win.
And I want the fans to know as well, this is the first time that I believe everyone outside of Cherio on Elevate has ever played a best of 5. This is their very first best of 5 as a team, and they've taken all 5 games. So credit to all of them on that team. Only Cherio has experience of going to 5 games, or at least even being in a best of 5. Don't think any of us have ever had the chance to do that before.
And it's been a very back and forth set here too. It's been just up and down, and those first 2 games being so long, this is a real through the ringer best of 5.
The difference is that what we mentioned in the first game and the first 3 games, I should say, was the amount of mistakes that both teams made to give each other a window back into the game. Obey, though, in Game 4 closed out the mistakes. They didn't make any, and they don't seem to be making any here either. That's what's keeping the pressure onto Elevate now, because Obey have tightened up the ship a little bit better now.
That's what it's felt like. They've tightened up the ship, and also they've been able to, I think they've improved their pick bans phase. I think that they forced Elevate away in a large part from that triple tank comp they liked.
And that's the big thing is, like, as the game unfolds, you need to have multiple strategies. You can't just go in with one. You go in with one strategy over and over again. If you don't make it through this game, when you go to the wildcards, if Elevate go down to the wildcards, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and go, well, everyone knows to make sure we don't get Cabrakan and Artio, and we may have a bad time, you know? That's what it's going to come across as.
That's what it'll look like, and it's going to look like Cherio needs to run away. Emilzy trying to get the slow off on him through space and time, actually misses. Dardes blinks in to stun him out, but Emilzy uses the portal to get to the back. Captain Twig crashes in as well, forces Death Panther to jump away. So a whole lot about nothing, really.
It was a lot of a mess. Cherio trying to take back Harpies, nearly got him picked. Space and time missing from Prime there actually meant that Cherio would live. Fantastic work out of support Dardes there to blink in, though, and stun and try and slow that engagement down.
And you talked about noticing stuff when they move into the group phases. Cherio really likes to go back for those back harpies. It seemed like he's gotten caught out there before.
All junglers do like to do that realistically, just because it's great farm. The experience from the back harpies is a lot more than it used to be back in the old days. Like, it's good value for what you get, but you can get caught out of position there. Someone like Humbats has a harder time escaping. Yeah, he's got a somersault, but that's about it. Ratatoska, Thor, they're a little bit better at that. Why? Because they can just use their ult and just half the map away if they need to, if they get caught out of position. That's why Twig kind of judges it a little bit better than some of the other junglers based off, hang on, where is everybody else? Oh, there's 4 on a ward on the left-hand side. I could take the right-hand side back harpies.
And that might be why. I mean, we don't always see Cheerio on those super slippery junglers. You know, he likes, you know, his bulkier ones or like this Unbots that we've seen him on there too. So that might be why we feel like it happens to him.
And bulkier ones as well. Like, bulkier ones can survive differently because they'll just be able to weather the storm of the damage coming through, you know, just tank it up and be like, okay, yeah, I lost half my health, but still got him, you know? On a squishier target like a Hombat's a little bit tricky. You've got to play it a little bit more carefully, or you're being forced to use a Fear No Evil, which is a very big teamfight ultimate.
And look at this build from Cheerio on this Unbots. Looks like he's already tried to respond to some of this magic damage coming out from Emilzy and from Xaylia, recognizing the impact they're going to be able to have.
How funny is it to see that everyone adapting towards Captain Twig sort of style nowadays? Going for the Ancile, going for the back Harpy invader we've seen out of Captain Twig so much. A little while ago, Twig was seen as one of the worst junglers in the world. He really was. Everyone was saying, oh, Twig's so bad at the jungle. And now he's a 4 leader of the jungle of, like, these are the picks, these are the bans, these are the itemizations, these are the strategies.
Fear No Evil comes out. That does push Captain Twig and Xaylia into the back, but up onto the tree goes the rat. He's looking to come crashing down the backline. Emilzy, Ataraxia, and Xaylia are all in tow, knocking up no numbers. No numbers has to use Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, but it's nowhere near enough. Ataraxia gets credit, and also Jermaine has his beats forced out by the portal.
But they're splitting the fight again, Obey. Notice how they kept Jermaine busy on the left-hand side and isolated. He was forced to beat away from Pretty Prime, and now they group up, look to get the blue buff. Cherry are looking to reinitiate. Has no ultimate. They do have Panthers still up, though, however. And then, obviously, you know, Jermaine and Dardas, who don't have any.
Yeah, so they still do have those Taiko drums to use if they need to. Actually, pretty relevant as now Obey Alliance look to start up the Portal Demon, but before it even has a chance, it gets deleted. And look at these graphs here. They've been these sharp plateaus where Obey are chilling, waiting until they have an opportunity to go in.
The gold is just like a steep steps. That's all it is. It's just steps. Slowly down, trickling away from Elevate, and Obey just walking down them like, thanks very much. This is not a problem for us whatsoever.
And that's what it is. It's like that because Obey Alliance slowly enjoy their lead. They're not risking anything anymore. They're not taking 50-50s. Once they know they have a chance, bam, we see our sharp down, and then they'll wait until they got another chance.
Overall, Key, you said it there. They didn't take the 50-50s as much. They're actually taking majority fights in their favor. Cherio just forced to beads there. He's in a bit of trouble yet again. He's running the wrong side of town. Cherio, you're playing on order this game, my friend, not on chaos.
Ataraxia cleans that one up. Not really too much of trouble. In fact, now they're going to be able to head towards the Gold Fury. Death Panther still sitting on the Taiko drum, so he'll have a chance to say anything, but not if Captain Twig goes up into the air to try and zone him out.
Yeah, as Tom would say here, after I would turn out and say that's a global radar. Oh, he went in. I'm not sure if he's going to say the trade. Jermaine's got no mana. Jermaine has no mana and no beads. They know this. And Twig's taking the trade with the Thorns. The tower's coming into play. The sun's come down. Dardes will be around the back to survive. Ataraxia was looking for a cheeky ricochet, but he missed it. That's unfortunate.
And that's all right. All Captain Twig gave up there were the Thorns, but they actually get a lot of cooldowns out of Jermaine. So he loses the Aegis and didn't even have beads available.
So it's Thorns for Aegis, and the ult was already expended by Twig just for zoning purposes. It's basically a global radar. It's like a free global satellite of like, is anybody coming? Nope. Oh, look, Jermaine's back in. Let's just stop him back in for an extra second, which means he'll lose some of this farm on this left-hand side instead.
Put a little bit of pressure on him. Force Dardes to hang around over here so that they can go try and put some vision on the right. And as he continues to try and fight the rat as a druid, he might feel like he's a little beneath him.
Yeah, and Dardes is just actually trying to freeze the wave, which I love out of him too. Make sure that Jermaine doesn't lose any farm, because Jermaine really needs it to stay in contention in this game.
He's a bear, though. Shouldn't he just be able to just, like, stomp the rat? I don't know.
I mean, I guess he could just swallow it, right?
Yeah, it seems like it, but I guess not. Either way, Dardes helping to keep that wave there so that his buddy, Jermaine, can come in and clean it up.
I guess if you were in bear form and then you eat a rat and then turn into druid form again, then you're going to have a massive rat in your stomach. That's going to cause issues for you as a human, right?
Yeah. I mean, she's using some kind of druid magic, so I assume it resolves, but yeah.
It resolves.
Yeah,
just in case. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree with that one.
Either way, though, Obey Alliance are the ones that are out in front now. About 7K gold or so. 7-1 in the kills as well. 20 minutes into this game, and this is a bit different. These last 3 games, pace-wise, have been very different from what we saw through games 1 and 2.
Well, Obey have controlled it by just better rotations, using the honest to their advantage, catching people out of position like No Numbers is right now, who's got to be a little bit careful on this side, just because Emilzy and Ataraxia are on the way, and that's Ataraxia I just said there. And don't forget, Giannis is on that left-hand side now, 2v1 him, but getting chased out by Cherio. No Numbers is going to die here, I feel.
They do force the ultimate out, and then immediately the tectonic shift comes down, deleted by Ataraxia. Twig falls down to Dardes as well. They use the cleanse from hell to make sure he's able to keep pushing in, but Dardes runs out. He's a tanky bear.
And then Twig takes the back harpies, blue buff available. Left-hand side, Elevate will get tier 1, but Obey can answer that back on the right now with a tier 1 of their own, so no real loss on that left-hand side of the map.
Plus, Pretty Prime is there to hold them back, and he can use through space and time to get over here if he needs to. So the map is really being stretched by Obey, but Cherio is coming in on the back, looking like he wants to be a part of it. Ataraxia saw it, though.
And he gets the ricochet out from Ataraxia, but Jermaine returns a favor, and Jermaine actually comes out of top, forcing Ataraxia to use the Aegis. Pretty Prime fired the space and time, hoping for the wild shot through. Didn't find it onto Cherio, who will survive for now.
Either way, now Tier 1 in mid is going to be the target. Obey Alliance are coming in. And in fact, let's go in and listen to their comms thanks to Sennheiser.
Oh. No? Okay.
Just chill.
Can we reset? I got flooded.
Reset. Next one is Paul.
I'm coming for that blue. I'm coming for that blue. Gonna back straight up. Oh,
fuck. Guys.
There's a fucking army there, man. This might be rough.
They're pushing mid. We need to defend mid. Yeah, I can defend it.
Oh, man. Oh, shit, I need help.
Yeah, come in. They're collapsing. All left. Get out. I ulted them off. I ulted them off.
Thank you. Good wall. Good wall. Greedy. Oh, yeah, you have really low cooldown. They're jumping. Rod in 60. I'm gonna go and push up red again, guys, okay?
Yeah. Okay, but we need to be there for Paul.
I'm gonna back.
Yeah. We should do it on spawn.
You guys should be on portal. I'll stay on red, so Yolu comes late. Got full healing rod now. That's pretty good.
Two people left.
I don't have any items.
Once again, the comms from Obey Alliance sounding really clean. Emilzy letting him know he was under trouble from Cherio, immediately got the help he needed. Zalius saying, I've got some contained here, and they're able to get out.
And that's the thing they need to do, Obey, is just like be clear on the comms now. They don't want to make the mistakes. That's why even like, we're out of position, just drop the wall. Let's just get out of danger. There's no reason to make the mistake. Talk about Rodder Tahui coming through from Pretty Prime too. He's like, listen, I'm going to clear up the left-hand side again, first of all. I don't need to be there, is what he's saying. Why? Because he's on a Giannis. He can through space and time and get there if he needs to. Rest of the team are going to be looking for the Portal Demon. That'll be where the next fight is, as long as there's not too much pressure in mid from Elevate.
And that's what we heard from. They knew Portal Demon would be a place where they were going to end up fighting for it. So you heard that call too. We need to make sure we're there for the Portal Demon. And that's what they are. Pretty Prime's like, hey, I can make it over there, no problem. Y'all go ahead, get in position, and I'll join y'all if need be.
They've got the wall coverage down. That's why they're giving the moment for Ataraxia to just pick up that red buff real quick so they can get over there, back with it once more. But Cherry was getting a sneaky idea by it. Gold Fury's coming up at the same time. And if Obey invest too much in the Portal Demon, you could actually see them go for the Gold Fury here, Elevate, and strip that one away for free.
And that could be the call. Pretty Prime is over there. If he notices it's happening, he could at least try and slow it down. So you're right, there are some options there for both teams. Portal Demon still not being full committed onto. They want to get Elevate to commit in more than they want the objective. They want the bait.
And I don't know about Obey wanting to take a 5-on-5 fight. We talked about how Obey have a big AoE team fight composition. Don't take that fight with him. Poke him down, abuse it. They're doing that with Prime a little bit because, like, yeah, let's just dance with him. You know, Prime could get some free towers on the left-hand side if he wanted to.
Absolutely. If no fight happens, then yes, this definitely goes in favor of Obey if they continue to push. But now we see Pretty Prime kind of moving away, looking to see if anything's up. But unfortunately for him, the news is nothing's up. So
they're going
to go back and push.
If Obey can get some wards down in this little corridor here through mid lane, Pretty Prime could actually snipe through the whole team as they're trying to funnel in to defend the Portal Demon. That would be brutal. That would actually probably end the game right there just because of the amount they'll get out of that fight and the Fire Giant after.
He actually pulls Jermaine over to that side. That's a big deal. Now they're just in the 4-4 without the Hunter. Death Panner also had to use his beads, and that's enough for Pretty Prime, or rather, Twig to go up.
It misses through there, but it just gets some extra pressure on Death Panther. No numbers left on his own. Has to walk defensively, but now he's surrounded and dead.
No Numbers has not been able to get anything going in this fight. He's continually getting targeted out by Captain Twig. Ataraxia is the one that gets credit for that kill, but it was a team effort. Portal Demon now will be the spoils going to the victor of the last team fight.
Elevate just didn't know what to do there. They didn't know whether they wanted to commit or not, realizing that Giannis could have come into the fight. And in the end, they just let Obey do what they want. Captain Twig just walked up and started slapping Death Panther in the face. And then after that, everyone was like, oh, we best defend Death Panther, which left No Numbers alone. And then No Numbers dies, Portal Demon dies, now the Gold Fury too. Jermaine.
It's down to half health. They do have Jermaine here along with a little bit more support from Dardes, so they have a chance to fight if they want, but no, not able to do it. They couldn't get in there. Obey Alliance continue to push out their lead, now up at 10,000 Hindu.
Just a steady flow in favor of Obey. Now it's up to the Fire Giant. This is probably the only turning point Elevate could look for in this game with how this is going. They have to contest the Fire Giant, and they probably have to commit to it. They can't give it up for free here. If they give it up for free, this game is probably over because Obey have changed their style a little bit more as the game's gone on. They've started doing a bit more split pushing with the Fire Giant buff when they've had it. So they've had like one person in the left and the rest in the mid just to split up, and with Giannis, that makes it so much easier.
That's what the call is going to be. Obey Alliance now up 9-1, 26 minutes here into the game, and now with it firmly in the driver's seat of it, Elevate starting to feel that trip to HRX possibly slipping away. They have a chance, Graham, to still get into this one, but it's getting smaller and smaller.
They do, but they really did put a beat down onto Obey to take him to all 5 games as well. Obey been around the block a few times now themselves. Some of those members have been in multiple 5-man games where they've been down before, so doesn't surprise me to be in this spot, but they're looking solid for this. It's taken a long time to get here, though. What are we in, like hour 5?
It's been a while this set's been going on, and that's what's really going to be telling for these two teams. How well their mental state is still here in these last 2 games. That's where Obey has shined through game 4 and 5 when they're the ones who have this experience.
And it's only day 2. Remember that. This is only day 2. We've still got Dig Rival later today. After this set, we've still got Dig Rival to come. Then the actual wildcard group stages. Like, this is going to be a long old week. But at least one of these 2 teams, more than likely looking like Obey, will solidify their spot as the first team in Europe to qualify.
Captain Twig continue to bully no numbers on the side of the team.
There we go.
Cherio actually goes in with the Fear No Evil. Not able to get very much out of it. Dardes now the one in trouble as Captain Twig goes up onto the tree and takes down Death Panther in the back. Ardaraxia cleans up Dardes as well. 5v3 now in favor of Obey. Cherio, just the lone monkey up against the man who can go through walls. He falls as well.
That'll be a tier 2 tower. Probably a Phoenix unless they choose to go for the Fire Giant. Doesn't matter which one they really want to go for. I think the Phoenix is the best option. You just fall back to Fire on the way out. Don't know if they can end. They might be able to, because Jermaine and No Numbers don't have much in terms of defensive options here. I think Fire Giant's a safer call, however.
And that's what they're doing. They know a lot's on the line. Take this middle Phoenix. Let's go back. Get the objective. That way we can clear up the rest of these towers. Weaken that Titan health. Those 2 tier 2 towers are still up, so it is healthy at this point. And now, after winning that fight 4-0, Obey Alliance come back to clean up the Fire Giant.
Well, Elevate will go to wildcards tomorrow by the looks of this, and what they're going to have to do is work out what's next on the list. Like, how do we stay in this is the biggest issue going into wildcards tomorrow, because everyone knows their comps now. Jermaine's trying to make a big time play. It's not going to happen. Fire Giant's still going to go down. This is just them trying to buy time and throw lives away. I mean, maybe they get a steal. Dardes coming from mid, has Blink available, but it's an RTO.
RDO, he does have a chance with this Dardes. We heard a couple of taunts coming after that last kill too. Obey Alliance certainly get to the point now where they're feeling themselves a little bit more, and no one likes to go up against Obey when they're all feeling confident and ready to come in.
But going back to what I was saying, Elevate need to adjust for tomorrow now by the looks of this. They have to have more than one strategy in mind. This triple tank composition they started with, fantastic, it's great. But Obey have solved the puzzle for every other team. Obey have shown how to solve the puzzle of the triple tank double hunter composition. And Elevate are like, well, yeah, we don't have any other puzzles to really give you. We'll just play Hunt Bats. And
so Obey bought the Elevate game day 1, figured it out, put the strategy guide up online.
Pretty much that's what's happened. Yeah, they broke down the guide, they worked out the strat, and this is how you deal with it. That's what Obey have done.
Either way, Obey in a strong position now to start pushing in whenever they're ready. They have the Fire Giant around all 5 members. Elevate going to have to work on a Phoenix defense, and that's a bright spot for them, though. Their Phoenix defenses have been very strong all set.
They have been really solid overall, yeah, and they've still got a very good comp for Phoenix defenses, but like I said, the way Obey have played these offensive, as these have continued, they've not stayed on one Phoenix. They've split the difference. They've made sure they split Elevate up. And they're just going to do it again, especially now that the middle Phoenix is down. 4 left, 1 right. Jobs are good.
They're letting Pretty Prime push up the mid lane to try and get those fire minions in as soon as they can once theirs are spawning in the lanes, while the other 3 start to push this tier 2. Now they got Captain Twig joining them too.
Cherio can't be right here. They're going to lose a tier 2 on the left-hand side. If Obey see that, they could just like siege left immediately and look for the pick straight away.
Cherio is already backing to try and hurry up and get back in. Looks like Obey didn't want to rush in. They didn't want to try and force it. They do feel confident in their ability to siege this Phoenix, it looks like, and that's what the fight they're going to take instead.
Here we go. Blink, Fear No Evil, off the mark, up, down onto Xaylia, but Xaylia takes no real poke. Now Twig's going to take to the sky, and Elevate are in trouble.
Twig did land down the back line, up onto the Tycho drums as Death Panther going to the team fight, but it's just not enough damage. He gets blown up right away. Now comes in Emilzy on the hell. He's getting thrown for a wild ride, but he doesn't care. He's tanky. Phoenix on the left-hand side does fall. All 5 members of Obey are still looking good.
Safe.
Give me the heals, Emilzy. Let's keep going.
That's just playing it safe now. Let's go take tier 2 in right and then look to get the last Phoenix down. No reason to make a mistake. That was Elevate just trying to force something, trying to make something happen. So Cherry's like, let's just do it. Whatever. Blink, Fear No Evil, and immediately Ardaraxia is like, lol, telegraphed, and then just blinked, sorry, leaps away, didn't even have to use a relic.
And we can tell a little bit down here on our player cams too that Elevator recognizing that
Dejected,
for them
okay.
to make it back through, it's going to be difficult for them. Blink in actually goes in from Dardas onto the back line. That is good for him to get something started, but no follow-up for it right away. No numbers again getting bullied on the left side by Captain Twig as Phoenix on right continues to fall.
Still no ultimates available for Elevate, so this final Phoenix will now fall down, and Obey with fire minions coming in mid soon. They might just wait off a second or two here. Actually, this is super safe, if anything else, but don't make the mistake. They've made a couple today, and I think that's what they've thought to themselves as well. They've made had a lot of issues themselves. Let's not do anything stupid.
Yeah, it's not my ticket that's on the line. It's Obey's, and if they want to play it safe, they can.
Twig
up into the air, looking for Cheerio, who's all alone over on the right. Has to use Fear No Evil, but he gets blown up by Pretty Prime. He's gone. That's going to be a 5v4 now in favor of Obey. The wall's coming down. See you later, Dardas. 5v3 now in favor of Obey. There are no Phoenixes. Ataraxia with a double kill. The surrender vote came out, but it's too late. Obey Alliance punched their tickets to HRX.